Paula Greszinski. I'm here today representing the Secretariat of Science, Technology and Higher Education. And a little words about me. I'm PhD on development and environment. I'm work at State University, the State University of Middle West, in the social sciences.
They are going to be there in Guarapuava.
Ah, sim.
Yeah, sure, they are going to spend 2 days there. She is from Guarapuava, or Irati, or Guarapuava? Irati, okay.
Irati,
That's in Guarapuava, okay.
But now I serve like as a chief of staff at the secretariat. Accompanying me in this meeting is Helena Salim de Castro. She have a PhD in international relations. That's why she was with me today. And she serves as an advisor at the secretariat. Our secretary, Professor Aldo Bona, couldn't be present today, but he asked me to represent him, and he informed me that he had the pleasure of visiting some of the institutions represented here today during one mission in Australia. He asked me to extend his greetings and gratitude for your presence here in Paraná, and to emphasize the importance of collaboration among universities and the value of exchanging ideas and knowledge. He also requested me to present the higher education system in Paraná. I have some slides and I will be quite brief, I promise. Tá pronto os slides? I have many wonderful things to say about our higher education system, but I will be really. It's more easy when we can see the map. And
just a moment. Have your name, please just pull up.
Greszinski.
Greszinski.
Greszinski is a Polish name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Polish name. We have a lot of Europeans here in the south of Brazil normally.
Great.
Then we have 1 million descendants of Polish people in Paraná State. Yeah, 400, a little bit more, 500,000 of Ukrainian ones. Yeah? Ukrainians. Then we have Germans. We have Italians. We have also Japanese. And we have that's a very multicultural state in this sense. But Greszinski is a Polish name. My mother was a Polish also, Polish descendant, yes, Wałczuk. And that's that. Okay.
You are
Okay.
South America, Brazil, where is the next slide?
Não está conseguindo? Okay.
Paraná, located in southern Brazil. But you know this. I said I have many wonderful things to say, but I will show something more specific. Paraná, the state of Paraná stands out for several reasons, like this, the largest 40
Fourth largest economy in the country.
The largest meat producer, second largest grain producer, the largest number of organic food producer. But what interests me, myself, is the more largest higher education. The Brazilian Paraná is the Brazilian state with the largest number of state universities. We have seven state universities. In this map, we can see each of the 7 universities represented by one color. For example, my university is the yellow one, the State University of Middle West even show like a middle south, but the name is Middle West. And the other 6 colors is the other 6 state universities we have. Like the blue one, State University of Ponta Grossa. Ponta Grossa, the name of one city. The red one, State University of Maringá, another city. The green, State University of Londrina. Londrina is the name of the city. And this is a little of our state universities geographically.
And some of them are multi-campus also. Multi-camp, yeah, they are
Spread all over the state.
spread all over the state. Yeah.
I will show you this. But it's important to note that the state also hosts several private and federal institutions, which are also part of the state science and technology system. But today, I will only focus on the state universities because I'm a state person. So the next slide, we can see the other campus. So additionally, each of the 7 state universities has decentralized campi. So on the map, we can see in a darker shade the city where the university is headquartered.
Yes, that's okay.
And in a lighter shade, the cities where the campus are located, right? We can see the state higher education system is geographically spread out to serve all regions of Paraná. Well, I promise to keep it brief. I will stop here now. Just concluding this speech with some statistics about undergraduate, master's, PhD programs. The next slide have the number of students. And our staff. I will stay here, right, available to discuss the relevant issues during this meeting and work towards to set goals of our institutions.
Okay, thank you.
We, the higher education in Paraná, are committed to academic excellence, cutting edge research, and quality teaching. And I hope we have many opportunities to share this with you. I hope you all understood me because this is my first time speaking in English. Especially with so important people. You did a great job. Thank you.
Agora, Márcio.
Thank you.
So hello again.
Oi.
So hello again. Now I'm ready.
Very important agro fair in the north of the state, in Londrina. Márcio is there for the agro fair.
So hello, good morning again. Nice to be in touch with you, even remotely. It's very nice to be in touch with Australia. And again, talking about the possibilities or opportunities for cooperation. Did you hear me?
Yes,
it's okay.
Yes. It's going well.
I will share my screen. Please let me know if you are not seeing that. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will just give a brief idea of the science, technology, and innovation ecosystems of Paraná State, and as far as the Araucaria Foundation is concerned, or the vision of Paraná Araucaria Foundation. So I think that some of these numbers are already present by Eliane and Professor Ramiro, but just to give a brief overview, We have at this moment the largest power generation in Brazil. It's located in the west side of the state, is Itaipu. We are also the largest exporter of grains, the second port in the country, and basically doing the exportation of grains. Let's go direct to the first on industrial outputs into 2019. We are very strong on agri-technology. We are a world reference on that. About 9.1 thousand new jobs since January of 2020. Well, the drivers of this government at the present moment that we are following, they can be defined as three main points. The first one, to have a modern and innovative state. The creation of wealth and well-being through science, technology, and innovation is more and more perceived by the governance of the state, science and technology innovation as a lever to the creation of wealth and well-being. We are also very concerned with the competitiveness assets. So the idea here is to improve this competitiveness and always taking care of sustainable development. Here we are talking about the 17 SDGs. Well, we are located in the south, as already present by Paula. We are always the fourth or the fifth GDP in Brazil. At this moment, I'm not sure, but I think that we are the fourth one. Ramiro can precise that.
Yes.
Workforce two times more productive compared with the other states. The second largest technological innovation hub in Brazil. And as far as agrotech hub is concerned, I think that's the first one. Best utility companies in the country as far as sanitation and power supply companies are concerned. And according to Financial Times, the best investment strategy for South America. Well, one of the main points I would like to highlight in this conversation with you is the access to Mercosur. We are talking about 264 million consumers, which means a space or a very nice context to organize a science, technology, and innovation ecosystem that goes beyond the Paraná state itself. I think that Ramiro and Eliana also could talk a little bit after the Zicosur or Mercosur possibilities of integration. We are a lot of international agreements or arrangements at this moment to take care of Mercosur requests or demands. Just to take a little idea of our science and technological production. As far as agricultural and biotech sciences are concerned, we are the third one in the world. The first one is China, and the second one is the United States. Maybe some of these index have changed in the next 2 years, but I think that we are usually one of the most important countries producing science and technology on agriculture and biotech. On agriculture and we are the first hub in the South America. Okay, just to give you a brief overview also, we have at this moment almost 27 science, technology, and innovation state ecosystem. Paraná, together with Rio Grande do Sul and São Paulo, we are considered the leaders of the organization of innovation ecosystems. Well, that's very important for us since 2019, is to see and organize the system itself based on the needs or requirements of each region. So we see at this moment the state organized by nine regional STI ecosystem. Each ecosystem here is defined by the concentration of ICT or STI assets, which means the universities, the labs, and also the organizations that works or provides some support on science technology. Also very important for us is the startup ecosystem itself. You see that we have spread all this ecosystem in the state. The number here is underestimated, 1,400, but I think that depends of the methodology to approach the definition of startups. I think that at this moment we are just the double of this number, about 3,000, and also spread in the territory. What is very interesting for us is this movement or this effort on startup creation is mainly based on our universities, which means 900% of our startups, they are some relationship with our universities. Well, that's a very important point also here in this discussion is the idea of the matching of our researchers or our organization institutions with the institutions and researchers undertaking or under developing in Australia. We see at this moment the best instrument or mechanism to do that, what we call NAPS. NAPS means new R&D arrangements, new R&D and innovation arrangements, if you prefer. They are a social-technical approach. The idea is mobilize the intellectual and social capital that we have spread in the region. You see a little more of these assets, always focused on the creation of wealth and well-being. And for us as a foundation to support science and technology, it's very important to have a return over investment on R&D and focused on key development areas. So working with this approach, we see that's a technical one and also a social approach. Let's try to understand. First, let's say that the NAPs, they are composed of four main players, the academy, the universities itself, but also the government. Usually the government is represented by Araucaria Foundation and also by the Secretary of Science, Technology, and Higher Education. We have also the Innovation Secretary and some others, depends of the organization of the NAP itself. But we have also in these arrangements, it's very important for us, the enterprise themselves, because we are, as researchers, and as a foundation to support the researchers, we are working with the most earlier TRL levels. So we think that enterprise can complement this effort to bring knowledge, since its most basic idea, to the community or the society itself. So enterprise is very important to bring us the giving to the society the expected results. Also for us in Brazil, it's very important the NGOs, the third sector, are the representation of the society itself. Okay, so for us, we use, in the sense, the fourth helix model to build our NAPs, new arrangement. As far as region and assets are concerned, you can understand the NAPs as virtual clusters. I think that you work more with the American point of view, so the Americans use also to organize their efforts as far as the fourth helix or the triple helix are concerned as clusters. NAPs can be seen as virtual clusters. They have usually a main node that's a physical node, it's an university or some universities, but it organizes also the effort of an intellectual capital, a social capital of the entire state or even beyond. Also, if you work with the idea of Europe approach to organize these common efforts, you can see the NAPs as being consortiums. So the kind of consortiums that in Europe they use in the last 20 years, I can see, to organize common efforts. So if you take a look on regions and assets, that's very important to understand that our system is very spread in the territory. So we have the presence of our university our labs covering the entire territory or the entire state. This is the most important assets we have, which means our intellectual capital. We are talking about 21,000 PhDs. Most of them, they are in our universities. Here we have almost 8% of our researchers, they work in universities, and 20% they work in enterprise, okay? So if you take a range, a tax, you can see that our system is close to some of Europe as far as PhD per inhabitants are concerned. We have a strong or large number of students also in the system. As far as we talking about the social capital, we can talk about the institutions themselves. So we are talking about 7 state universities. Paula has described a little bit this state system, but we work also with federal universities. We have 4 of them located also. They are multi-campus, so they are spread also in the territory. 1 federal institute also spread in the territory, and a lot of private universities and research centers. One thing that one indicator we believe that's very important is almost 300 programs for PhD and Master in Science in these universities and federal institutes.
Marcio,
Oi.
I have a new number, and that's the old one. That we have 375.
Oh, great.
Yeah. That's not the right number. Yeah, 375, and 200 of them are doctorates. Yeah, that's not just in the state system, but all over the state in the federal system also. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
number. Okay, you must
Okay,
correct.
it's updated.
You must correct there. Yeah.
Okay. So as far as our priorities on key development areas, we can say that we have 5 vertical areas. The most important is agro-industry, followed by renewable and sustainable energy, biotech and health technology, smart cities, and what we see as social science and human science, more close to the 5.0 idea of society. The concept that was born in Japan. At this moment, they work a little bit in Europe, and I think that's mostly close what we talk here about social and human science as far as science technology is developed. Well, we have also 2 crossing knowledge areas. The first one is digital transformation. Digital transformation is, I think that the entire world, at least most of the science and technology institutions are looking for, is digital transformation. So in the state of Paraná, we see that it has to be a strong effort to foster this knowledge area. And sustainable development is also a crossing area that is the responsibility to the SDGs, the 17 SDGs. Well, our strategy to put in place to organize this SNAP is also to focus in these priority areas. We use a digital platform. This digital platform, we can identify each expert or research in our system, not only in Paraná state system, but the entire Brazil science and technology system. What are their profile, what they are producing as far as science technology, if they are grouped in researching groups, what are the institutions that are providing some help on science and technology, and so on. This platform, I think that Ramiro will suggest to offer you really to have access and to know our system. Okay.
In this platform we have in Brazil, we have 7.5 million of researchers all over Brazil. And the state we have 440,000 researchers in the state, 21,000 of them are doctors. Then we use the platform to create the new arrangements of research innovation. We talk in some field like that's done alternative proteins. We can have at least 40 or 50 doctors in the state, and we can put them together to create a program or something like it. Like the napping, your nap that's in biodiversity. Yeah, we have 3 naps in biodiversity now. Yeah. Yeah, we had the first one, you were the responsible. Now we have 3. And how many researchers you have in your NAPI?
About 120
Yeah.
less.
Yeah, and
I mean, considering the 3.
we can identify them in the platform because we are there. We are obliged in Brazil, if you are a research, we are obliged to have your curriculum in the LATS platform. That's a national platform. That's impossible to receive money from the government without to be in the curriculum in the LATS platform. Yeah. Okay. And then we use the LATS platform for creating our new arrangements as research innovation. Just Paraná State has their Araucaria platform because we developed that. Okay, Marcio.
Okay, so as Camilo said, we have access to about 400,000 PhDs entire the world. Now, at this moment, we are under development, always under development, and we are trying to reach also ResearchGate researchers that are Brazilian ones. Okay, so it's a strong effort that we can share with you this platform.
Yeah, and that's important. We want to work with the Brazilian researchers that are on abroad. We know that we have 70,000 Brazilian doctors abroad. Yeah, then we can work with them also. We can work with Brazilian doctors that are in Australia also because we have let's see how many doctors we have, Brazilian doctors in Australia the next time. But we want to work with them, not to bring them home, but to work with them because that's better to stay there. If they want to stay there, they can work with us here also. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Marcio.
Okay, so to have just a brief idea, unfortunately they are in Portuguese, but we are translate that in English. Here are the NAPs. Each of these NAP is a kind of a cluster, as I said before. So we have some of them we invited here for this mission, for this meeting, those that are related with your mission, the Australian mission, okay? So Agritech, Biogas, and Tax Online, and so on. We have 62 at this moment. We can access all of them with the QR code. Okay, you will go direct to them. On biodiversity, as you are saying, Ramiro, we have 3 at this moment. Some related with biotech and genetics, other with the strategies for biotechs and ecosystem services. Okay, these are the three main NAPs or clusters dedicated to biodiversity. Okay, and here the others, the list. Each of these NAPs, they have their description inside. If you don't mind, you can use at this moment the automatic translation, the AI translation, so we can have access to all the content of each NAP. But we invite for this meeting those that we believe are at the first in a first attempt to reach our request here. I have a video here, but I think that's not necessary. Here you have the 2 main access.
You can put the video also if you have there. Please.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful one.
I think
that's a beautiful. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you heard, but I tried to connect again. Let's see. Let me know if you are here.
I don't think so, no.
Are you here?
No.
I have to connect again. If you don't mind, I come back.
Enviar o link rodado aqui.
Hã?
Não dá para ele enviar o link rodado aqui.
Pois é, você não pode enviar o link que nós rodamos aqui? Manda para o
Posso.
Kleber. O Kleber está aí, não? Tá. É mais fácil. Envia o link para o Kleber roda aqui. Tá? That's a beautiful video. That's a very short one, but it's so beautiful, yeah. And you are going to see the state house. You speak very good Portuguese also.
Paraná.
That's why.
I sent to you,
Parabéns, a
Kleber,
portuguesa é muito
eu enviei para
boa.
você.
Vou copiar, professor Marcos.
Você é pesquisador nosso, então, aqui.
Eu vou mandar na plataforma
Você é um
também,
dos
tá?
responsáveis do NAP? Do NAP ecosistêmico.
Eu estou nos dois.
Talvez você possa acionar direto aí da página do...
Muito conhecer, tá? Eles são, cara, a programação tá bem legal, eles são programação maravilhosa. Programação mesmo, programação tá bem legal. Eles vão litoral hoje.
Paraná, state with a strong economy, an investment accelerator. Its GDP is larger than those of Uruguay. Paraná, state with a strong
Começar de novo, o professor já perdeu o áudio.
Mas estava tocando áudio.
Eu estava ouvindo bem aqui.
and Sweden, and is already leading in the southern region. Paraná is a world reference.
Yeah.
E no sistema estadual e federal também. Da forma se copia. É, tá. Isso é importante para mim.
Kleber, quer que eu tente passar por aqui?
Ei, Márcio, obrigado.
Okay. So, do you want to open for questions, or may I leave
Yes,
the
if
meeting?
you have some
Yes.
question, No? We have not questions, I think.
Okay, so, Marcio, will you stay with us a little bit longer? Because I think we'll start for introductions here, so maybe it's good for
Okay.
you just to
I
know.
can stay. I can stay a little more.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Thank you.
We have one question, yeah?
Please.
Can you say more about the biotech sector?
If you can say more about the biotech sector, yeah?
About?
Biotech.
Fine. I didn't understand.
Biotech.
Biotech. No, I
Biotech
can
sector.
answer that. You have the biotech man just beside you.
Yeah. He's the biotech guy. So,
Biodiversity.
what I can say is biotech is one of our priorities in the state.
Which field of biotech you are talking? Which field?
Mainly medical technologies, data, genomics, healthcare.
Genomics we are very big one. You are going to see in Guarapuava there, because we are going to have a meeting there, and we have genomics. I think that the genomics NAPI, we have more than 300 doctors working together, yeah. And health, and also not just health, but also in the field of genetics, in plants and so on, and not health. And you are going to, there in Guarapuava, you are going to meet also a former president of the Brazilian Council of Science and Technology. That's Evaldo is going to be there. Evaldo is one of the best, the most important expert in the field of genetics in Brazil also, and he was a former rector of the university in the other state of Brazil. He was the president of CNPq and so on, but he's very nice in this field. And in terms of genomics, in terms of agriculture, and in terms of health, we are very strong. We are very strong. In terms of, we can work together. Yes, please. Well, yeah.
The biotech started first as a general purpose, but now it's focused in three main areas. I think that Haley can explain a little
No, not
bit
biotech. Haley is more biodiversity, Marcio. It's not biotech. Haley is more biodiversity.
Biodiversity, but it's related, Ramiro. Because
Yeah,
it's
I know. Okay.
And you will see that we have a close relation with agro-industry, renewable energies. Genomics also is a specific NAPI arrangement. They are closely linked.
Yeah, they are. But we are talking more about the genomics about health and agriculture. Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Do we have another question? Yes.
It's a little bit off topic, but does Brazil have a desire to build a sovereign capability in semiconductors? Is that something that Brazil is looking to, and Paraná looking to develop?
Brazil is looking for, of course, Brazil is looking for, but that's not an easy question. We have not a program for Paraná State. Yeah, we have not. We have one of our associate persons her name is Linier. She was the former president of the Brazilian Association of Microelectronics. Yeah. She has a lot of conditions. She's my assistant also.
Okay.
You can talk with her.
Okay,
I can put you in contact with her.
Yeah.
I can put in contact with her. She knows everything about the things that we are having in the country. And she's a very nice researcher and also a manager of research also. You can talk with her. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So I think we could go round for some introductions, if you know each other better. And so I'd be happy if you could introduce, telling your name, institution, where you were from, and also your area of expertise and your expectations during this mission here in Paraná. Thanks.
Well, I'm Christopher Thomas Bloom. I'm a forest engineer and professor from the Federal University of Paraná State and from the Department of Forest Sciences. I'm PhD in nature conservation. So I work mainly with endangered species, conservation of endangered species.
So my name is Nicolai de Oliveira. I am professor at the State University of Londrina. I am plant physiologist. I work mainly with plant response to abiotic stresses of native species, native trees, and also crops. And I also with the development of evaluation of nature-based solutions to improve their resistance to stresses.
Good morning. My name is Alberto Charua. I'm a lecturer from Licumbo University in Mozambique. It's in central region of Mozambique. And I work with ecosystem service evaluation, biodiversity conservation, and also I'm working actually with mangroves, specifically in a program called Payment for Ecosystem Service. Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much.
We have a lot of mangroves here.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We have it also in Mozambique. Estimated in 3,000 kilometers squares along the whole coastal areas of Mozambique. The coastal area of Mozambique is almost 3,000 kilometers. Yeah. And the province that Licumbo University is located is the richest area in terms of mangroves in Mozambique.
Okay.
Yeah, and my expectation with this meeting is so high. So that we can work together, we can develop research and also think about the collective project, right? Thank you so much.
We have a project together with the European Union in terms of mangroves for carbon storage. The mangroves are very important for carbon storage. Okay. We can work together also.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am a Brazilian German. I already got interested in the partnership with the AD.
Okay.
And I'm teacher at Universidade Technological University in Francisco Beltrão, 500 kilometers from here. And I am a herpetologist. I work with biology, natural history, conservation of rocks, mainly in the south along the Atlantic forest.
Okay.
So I'm hope that we have until Saturday, new projects, proposals. Very fine to be here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Selene Fernandez. I'm a senior lecturer at the University of New South Wales in Australia, and I'm part of the RNA Institute. We're here representing the RNA Institute. I work primarily in RNA in plants, genomics and bioinformatics, but back in Mexico, I had my group for a few years there. And I was working a lot in biodiversity, crop genomics, and also I was part of the Mexican Biobank, so I'm really interested in health genomics. And also, I guess I would like to help contribute with an example done in Latin America, because the context might be a little bit different to other biobanks like the UK Biobank. And I also work a lot on a project that I'm still involved in called Cabana, that it's aiming to build bioinformatics capacity in Latin America. This is a continuing project, and I'm a very, very small part of it, but I'll be talking about it here because I think Brazil can really benefit from this initiative. So I'm hoping to build partnerships in any of these areas.
Thanks so much.
I'm John Mattick. I'm the professor of RNA biology at the University of New South Wales.
Okay.
My interest is in genomics, human and mammalian genomics, specifically the information content that creates diversity of individuals, all the way from personality to physical, and in other mammals. I was the foundation director of the Institute for Molecular Bioscience at the University of Queensland. The current director tells me that it's still the most productive and high impact institute in Australia in biomedical research, both in terms of publications and in terms of startup company. Later on, I was director of the Garvan Institute of Medical Research, where we established the first medical genomics capacity in Australia. As a consequence of which, I went to England to head up Genomics England for the National Health Service and wrote the 5-year plan for the introduction of genomics into medicine in the kingdom. My expectations are kind of, I don't know, but my hopes are that I learn, as I have already, much more about the capacity here, about Brazil, and find opportunities to work with you.
Thanks so much for
Grant Hose, I'm the Associate Dean Innovation in the Faculty of Science and Engineering at Macquarie University. So in that role, I facilitate partnerships between our researchers and external organisations. What really interests me is aquatic ecosystems. I'm an ecologist. I work in groundwater ecosystems, what lives there, what it does, ecosystem services, biodiversity, and how it responds to environmental change.
Okay, thank you.
Joshua Peterson, so UNSW as well. So I'm Chief Operating Officer of the UNSW RNA Institute. I have a varied background, but probably the most relevant is production and process development, scale up commercial manufacturing of human therapeutics. But we've got projects in that area and also animal health. So I'm quite interested to get to see what opportunities are there for the population.
So good morning again. I'm Eliane Segatti Rios. I'm the International Advisor for Strategic Projects at Araucária Foundation.
Okay, my name again. Thank you for coming. My name is Camilo Vargafti. I'm the president of Araucária Foundation. I'm involved in the science and technology policy of Paraná State more than 40 years. Yeah, I'm engineer. And my field of research was renewable energies in the 80s. But nowadays, I consider myself, since the beginning of the 90s, as a manager of science and technology program. Yeah, that's my field, not my field of research, my field of doing things. Yeah, okay. Thank you for coming once more.
We can skip me or no? Another thing about me, my researches are about sustainability at the coast, tourism and sustainability, the coast of Paraná.
Okay, my name is José Marcelo. I'm not going to speak correctly your name, so whatever. José. I work in the Londrina State University, Universidade Estadual de Londrina, and I'm engaged in two of that NAPIs, one on climate emergency and another in the biodiversity and ecosystem services. I have been working on ecological restoration and forest conservation. And as Ale told you early in the morning, I know a bit about Atlantic forests, but not about this kind of forest here in the coast, but more about the interior forests. So along the week, we can talk about this. And I'm interested in develop some collaboration in functional responses of plants to climate change and other environmental pressures, such as droughts and floods and so on. Our research at this time is being done in both forest fragments. We have a very fragmented landscape and ecological restoration sites. We look for responses of plants that are planted in the ecological restoration sites and spontaneous established there. So we are trying to use this information to look for the future responses of both restored and preserved forests.
I'm Uffe Nielsen, Western Sydney University, where I'm an associate professor at the Oxford Institute for the Environment. I'm a soil ecologist by training. I do pretty much anything soils, but with a specific focus on soil biodiversity and ecosystem functioning. A lot of my research is around how we affect soils, how then that affects soil biodiversity and ecosystem functioning, both in natural and landscapes. My sort of main expertise is around soil fauna, but you can't do anything soils without doing the soil microbes as well. So my group does work across the whole sort of gamut, and getting more and more into sort of pests and pathogens in agricultural systems in forestry, but also looking at beneficial organisms in the soil, both the microbes, but also larger soil fauna. More recently, the group that I'm involved in has taken on more work around restoration and conservation. And so Western Sydney is urban, like a peri-urban landscape. It's the same issue as here, that a lot of fragmentation of the landscape and trying to figure out what's happening both with the plants above ground, but also what's going on below ground. And so obviously here, because I'm interested in sort of see what synergies there are with research and what we can do to build collaboration.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
My name is Maurizio Rossetto, and I'm from the Botanic Gardens of Sydney. So I'm a state institution rather than a university. I'm currently acting as Director of Science Education and Conservation, but normally I head the Research Centre for Ecosystem Resilience. So as an institution, obviously, Botanic Gardens biodiversity is our full focus, but my personal interest and the interest of my research team is to really be able to understand, quantify, qualify, monitor, and conserve biodiversity at the genic level. So we use a lot of genomic tools to try to not only understand processes, but inform and guide applied outcomes. So we particularly focus, for example, on restoration and conservation management of threatened species. And we try to develop a methodology, innovative methodology and workflows that are applicable to mass, or not focusing on one or a small number of species or multiple species, and on ways to democratize the data rapidly. So developing web tools that stakeholders can access and use as effectively as possible. So I'm really excited, and thank you for having us here. It's very exciting for us. And I think there are so many shared issues from a conservation biodiversity management between Australia and Brazil, that I think there are really good opportunities trying to develop parallel programs and collaboration. So I'm very that.
Next visit to Australia, I'm going to visit your botanic garden.
Make sure you do, please.
Yeah.
Make sure you do.
That's so beautiful, I think. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Julian Schrader. I'm lecturer in plant ecology at Macquarie University. Originally, I'm coming from Germany. My research is mainly on biogeography and macroecology of plants. And kind of the future research direction I'm heading towards is really understanding which species can we expect where in the future. So it's one thing is really the plant identities, of course, a bit, but also the functional perspective I'm really interested in. And so a lot of my research also involves islands, but I'm transferring the knowledge we gain from islands as model systems, really seeing the connectivity of populations between islands and which species make it there and why which species don't, which is really interesting. Also the habitat fragments on the mainland, because this can really tell us something like when we fragment our landscape, what can we expect in the future and which species are winners, which can go further south, tracking their climate niche with climate warming, and which are probably losers and which probably need help from us, aided transplanting or whatever. Also very interested in the genomic side, really to seeing how these meta-population dynamics play out and so on. And so that's the reason why I'm also really interested in coming here, because Brazil, well, outstanding diversity, but also highly fragmented. And I think you're facing the same issues as in Australia. Well, in Europe, you don't face these issues anymore because we just lost everything already. So one of the reasons why I left Europe, probably. So, but yeah, and also from my side, many thanks having us here. First time for me to be in South America. So it's very, very exciting and really looking forward to the next days here.
Thank you for coming also. That's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm David Tissue. I'm a professor at Western Sydney University at the Hawkesbury Institute for the Environment. I wear many hats there. I'm the theme leader for agriculture and food science, as well as being a plant physiologist and an ecologist. Sort of things that we are working on now is food security in a changing climate. So we do a lot of growth of food inside protected cropping, as well as outdoor cropping. I'm also interested in native ecosystems, so I'm looking at drought mortality, the impact of changing climate like CO2, water, heat waves, their impact on native ecosystems. I'm here because there's an awful lot to do in this country in terms of both agriculture and also in terms of native ecosystems. And all ecosystems, whether they be managed or native, are being pressured by changes in climate.
No, thank you for coming. That's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm Ian Wright. I'm also from the Hawkesbury Institute for the Environment at Western Sydney University. So I have a couple of hats as well. So I'm the chief scientist there at the Institute, and I'm a plant functional ecologist. So what that means is I'm interested in the way that plant traits, so the physical and morphological properties, chemical properties affect the function of them. A lot of my work is these days at the intersection of ecology and agriculture. So we, for example, try and understand the ways that Australian native species have adapted to heat and to drought and to other types of environmental stresses. And our evil plan is to steal those ideas from the native species we're using crop improvement, for example. So one of the projects I'm involved in is a big centre of excellence, which is a large national funded system where we work at the intersection of ecology and physiology and genetics and crop breeding. So I'm here representing the Institute, of course, and it's David and Ulfa, and I'll get to talk about our institute in a minute. I guess, in short, we have a very energetic institute that has a lot of different expertise across soils and physiology and ecology and genomics and so forth. And we see a lot of potential points of intersection between researchers and people here in Brazil. So we're really very excited to be here to see if we can represent our people, to see if we can build points of connection, and we're very interested in student exchanges and these sorts of things. And from a personal point of view, also I've had Brazilian students in the past, PhD students and exchange students. So I feel like I know a little bit about Brazil, but I've actually never been here. Very excited to be here and to see some of the vegetation, to hear about the sort of work that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very, very happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm Adam Stowe. I'm a professor from Macquarie University. I'm a conservation biologist, and I apply genomic techniques to threatened species management. Also very interested in habitat fragmentation and using genetic techniques to understand connectivity across landscapes. One of the reasons I'm really interested to be here is that in the past, under the Ciências Sem Fronteira program, I had a number of exchange students in my lab from Brazil, and they were fantastic, really top-level students, and it was a very rewarding experience. And I'm very much hoping to sort of reinvigorate that connection that I've got with Brazil and got with the postgraduate program. So looking forward to developing some programs and reestablishing that connection.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, I'm Elena Castro. I'm outsider here. I am PhD International Relations, and my areas of research are international security and gender studies. So I'm here I'm Paula, because I work at SEC, the Secretary of Science and Technology and Higher Education, for 1 month. So it's a pleasure to be here and to know and hear you all.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that's okay. Marcio, you can present yourself. Yeah.
So hello again. My name is Marcio Espinosa. I'm Director of Science, Technology, and Innovation of Self-Araucaria Foundation. My background is on productronics, which means artificial intelligence applied to industrial automation. But since 2000, it means 24 years from now, I've been working with the organization of science, technology, and innovation ecosystem. Okay, so thank you.
I brought him to Paraná State in 99. Yeah,
he showed me the light.
He was a very young researcher, but nowadays he's a very young also.
Very old.
And we worked together since there. Yeah, he's a very good manager of science technology program and so on. Yeah, a good one of the best, and he is one of the best Brazilian researchers in terms of innovation ecosystems. He has his postdocs in Stanford and Berkeley and so on. Very good researcher. Okay, well, I'm going to say just one thing before I can pass. We have since the beginning, since 2019, we had an international strategy for cooperation, because as a state, we cannot cooperate with countries. We can cooperate with some specific regions. It was my idea before. We can cooperate with some specific region or with some states in some countries. As we have a program, a very intense cooperation with Quebec province in Canada. We are going to receive this week. We are going to receive 20.
Tomorrow they arrive.
Tomorrow they arrive. We are going to receive 20. They are going to stay here 3 days. Yeah, 20 Canadian researchers from Quebec. They are Quebecois. Yeah, from Quebec. We are going to receive here because we are going to put their classes of innovation and our NAPs together. They are going to stay 3 days here for doing what we are talking here also. We have been there last year and we signed an agreement with the Araucaria Foundation in Quebec province and so on. Then we are going ahead. But then we have also a partnership with in Germany with Baden-Württemberg. Baden-Württemberg is the region that's in the southwest of Germany, and that's our approach for cooperation. We have relationship with Japan also, because we have Japanese here and we are traditional cooperation with Japan. But in the beginning, I like so much Australia. It was not in our strategic program to strengthen the relationship with Australia. In the beginning, not nowadays, because you are here. That's very important. And we received 2 weeks ago. We received other group of regional university network from Australia. Then Australia is demonstrating a great interest in cooperating with us, and then we want to cooperate to you also. That's because international cooperation depends on both sides. not just from our side and your side, but we depends of the intentions of both sides. And we can see that Australia nowadays, at least Australia wants to cooperate with Brazil, and of course we are offering Paraná State for cooperation because we have a good ecosystem for research and higher education here, and we can strengthen the cooperation next year. And then please design the project that we can cooperate together, because we can put the financial conditions. We can give at least for the Brazilian side, we can give for the financial conditions to you to work together. Yeah, okay. That's my thinking. Okay.
So I think we have already met virtually to talk about some potentialities in terms of joint collaboration. So I explained about the Getting the Word of Science state program. That is a program that Al Qaeda Foundation is supporting the exchange of undergrad students abroad. We've been cooperating so far to up to 8 countries, and Australia, of course, would be one of them. And besides the exchange of undergrad students for a period of 1 semester, we are very interested under this program to have the exchange of the postdoc. So it means that when designing your proposal, for example, you can consider some postdoc, Paraná postdoc, having a contribution to your project design. So we will support some postdoc exchange proposals to a period of 1 semester. So it means that they will receive the scholarship and plane tickets and health insurance to go abroad and to cooperate with your institutions. So you can, in your proposition up to Saturday, to host some postdoc on your area of expertise, and then we will consider to launch the call together with you for us to discuss the selection process. So on our side, it's just a question of the postdoc to present the acceptance letter by your institution, and also the research plan and the period that you expect to receive the postdoc researcher. In terms of undergrad students, we need to discuss together with you the requirements for you to accept them in terms academically speaking and also linguistically speaking, and when could be the selection process. It's a co-selection process, let's say, that first of all you discuss together with us the requirements and the conditions to host those students, mainly the undergrad, because we need to make sure that all the process will be safe for them. And after that, we can launch the call, considering starting this exchange from next year on. And then for the postdoc, it's faster. So it depends on your condition to host them. And then we can launch the call to cooperate together with your research purposes, okay? And besides again in the Word of Science, we also have the doctoral school. So remember that we had a virtual meeting to better explain about the doctoral school. So if you have any interest in succeeding with that proposal, we can further discuss. And I think together with Professor Alberto Charrua, we have a very nice meeting that we met all the director board of your institution, director, and then the dean of research. They were very excited about the proposal, and I think you analyzed already the documents, and we are ready to sign on our side. If you want to sign right now, to have the president's signature, and then together with you can have the document and take to your president of the university to have the signatures, and then we can exchange documents.
Okay, we have it already, and today is holiday in Mozambique. The chancellor of my university is going to sign tomorrow.
Okay.
Because he has authority to sign. But maybe I can.
This is just for picture.
So pictures. Just for me, it's okay. Yeah, because it's
Yeah, we can do the opposite. Okay, we can do the opposite. You can take the paper with our president's signature, and when we arrive in Mozambique, you can have the signature of your president.
Okay,
We can receive and you can sign again. It's just
Yeah.
for
So just for you to understand, so we have lots of universities making part of the doctoral school. So it's the doctoral school on territorial sustainable development on the Capricorn axis. So it means that we consider partnership together with the universities in Latin America, South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana, and other countries geographically located there. Also Australian institutions. So we recently received the delegation of the regional network universities. Lots of them are interested. So we are going to succeed in this partnership. And also with French Polynesia. So currently we have Argentinian institutions that are part of the doctoral school. So you have Universidade Ação do Chari, Nacional de Salta, Misiones, Chilichito, and Jujuy.
Most of them are from the north of Argentina because they are in the axis of Capricorn also. Yeah.
Yeah, from the Brazilian institution, we have Western University of Paraná, Ponta Grossa. We have also the Federal Institution of Paraná, Northern State University of Paraná, State University of Paraná, Western University of Santa Catarina. We also have Mato Grosso do Sul. We also have Grande Dourados, that's Mato Grosso do Sul, Londrina State University. From Chile, we have the Catholic del Norte. From French, we have MIT, Minelas. And from Paraguay, we have Nacional del Este, Caninhandu, Asunción, Itapúa, Concepción, and Pilar. And Australian University, we are going to sign pretty soon, just for you to have an idea of the network that it's already constituting in our doctoral school.
Is that the Australian National University or? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so before we have the break, I'd like to invite Professor Alberto Charrua to sign here, just as a
just to have.
As a
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for your presence here. Tem que nós assinamos? O último.
Liliane, professora, de olhar aqui. O Ramiro também.
Só instantinhos.
Tem que assinar primeiro.
By the way, I must
Okay, you can look at that.
Okay.
Sign. Yeah.
Well, you can look. You can sign and look else. Okay. Você vem assinar como testemunha, vem aqui. A Paula vem aqui assinar também como testemunha. Tá? Deixa a Paula assinar agora. Assine o Alberto, embaixo do Alberto. Pode ser. Agora eu assino aqui. Ele também assina.
No, my father was born in
Thank you so much. Muito obrigado por estar aqui. Quero visitá-lo. Não conheço. Ok?
Thanks. Okay, thank you.
Oh, no. Okay, we can have a coffee, but before the coffee, I go to say goodbye because you are going to be here to lunch and I have other meetings there. Well, I really wish to have a nice project together in the near future. Yeah, please.
Very soon.
Very soon, really soon. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, that's a real pleasure to have you here. Obrigado, professor. Abraço.
Okay, just before the break.
So, obrigado.
To contextualize a little bit about the doctoral school. So as you know,
Thank you.
obrigada, Ramiro.
Ciao, ciao.
So as you know, we're starting with virtual activities. So we have a very systematic theme on under a very specific geographical region for us to develop our research proposals. And we want to understand the diversity of the educational system from Australia, from France, from Argentina, from Paraguay, from Brazil and Chile. So we want, in respect to those differences in the educational system, to be very flexible, you know, and this proposal for the doctoral school is something that we want to receive proposals of any kind of activities that could contribute to the development of the research on those challenges that comprehend this very geographical region and this very specific theme. So, of course, that we can receive, for example, proposals for lectures, seminars, summer courses, winter courses, research lectures on the improvement of the research capabilities of our students, for example. We are going to design a platform in terms of having all the researchers interacting among themselves to discuss about some specific research groups, and also having the network of our students to interacting among themselves. So the idea is for the institution to offer some kind of activity, and then during the institutional offer for one specific semester, you're going to fill with your activities that you're going to offer next semester. And then we're open for all the students from this network. So the interested students going to apply for your activity directly to the professor responsible for that activity. So depending on your requirements and the vacancy number, for example, you're going to select the number of students from this network that you desire to host. And also, depending on the requirements, you can have also interviews, for example, to select them, to make sure that they're going to have good feedback regarding your activity. And then by the end of your activity, you're going to emit a declaration, for example, that has to do with the number of credits that this student received during your activity, and if the student is approved or not. So with that declaration, the student is going to present to his or her doctoral program, that if the institution is part of the doctoral school, it's required from the institution to accept the credits for his or her program, you know. So this is why we want to design the doctoral school based on some specific themes for research. For example, we have some thematic axis that has to do with environment, economy, social governance and legislation, logistic and infrastructure, development, innovation, and integration. So any kind of activity that has to do with this thematic axis under the big theme of the doctoral school, that is the sustainable territorial development on the Capricorn axis, will be accepted. So to make part of it, you can just offer one activity per semester, for example, and it doesn't matter the kind of activity, the number of credits, it doesn't matter. And of course, it can be synchronous or asynchronous, you know. So if asynchronous, we highly believe that our students, for example, from Brazil, they need to keep the night awakened to take your activity. Okay, so it's part of the game, so it doesn't matter. So the same if your students want to take some activity from here, but it's different, the time zone, if we consider, for example, from South Africa or from France, for example. So students will be part of this huge network, international network, and to start taking part of these activities. The first action we're going to do with the Australian universities, we are designing a series of webinars together with the Australian Embassy. So the series of webinar will start in 3 weeks, I believe. And I'll send you the link and the schedule of the webinar, so you'll be very welcome to join together with the other Australian universities who will be part of this webinar. During this webinar, we are going to discuss the nature of the doctoral school. We are going to discuss what kind of potential activities could you offer, what kind of governance will be like. And also in some moments, you're going to interact together with other institutions from other countries to discuss what you can potentially do together. So this is the nature of the webinar, to better know the doctoral school, to better know how you can be part of it. And by the end, you can decide if you want potentially to be part of the doctoral school or not. Okay, so again, it's a webinar that is designing together with the Embassy of Australia. So as soon as I get from them the schedule, I can send you, and of course, all of you are more than welcome to join this, and then after that to decide if you want to join the doctoral school or not. This year, we are going to design some lectures from the partner institutions. And from the first semester next year, we are going effectively to start the activities, the seminars. And financially speaking, we are also designing from Araucaria Foundation some motivation to have a kind of mobility between some researchers and students from this network to start face-to-face interaction. So we're going to launch some specific calls for the doctoral school. We just announced for the Zicosur network this mobility call, but we are going also to launch some calls regarding Australian universities, South African universities, Mozambique, and other ones that will be part of the doctoral school, and also the French ones. This is, of course, the starting point of the motivation, but of course that we're going to discuss together with the funding agency and government from your countries, how we can get some common funds to make this big consortium happen like we have today from the European community, for example, you know. So it's something that we're co-building, co-discussing, and co-designing, okay? So if you have any questions regarding that, I'm more than happy to answer. And also, I'd like you to consider being part of our program, Getting the Word of Science, that will have the exchange of both undergrad and postdocs, okay? So open for questions. Otherwise, we can have some coffee. And after the break, we can continue the discussion.
Yeah, so the obvious question coming from Australian system is where our PhDs do not have coursework components, and I know you're aware of this, is how do we try and articulate these sorts of ideas where we can't offer credits. We can offer credits, but they're really anything because we don't have credits in our own PhD program.
Yeah.
So how do you see that?
You can have some research internship, you know. So our PhD programs, they have it's converted in credits. But also when we have our students abroad, we convert the number of the hours dedicated to the research internship, for example, and we convert in credits for their program, because one of the requirements for the PhD programs is for them to have some hours dedicated to research project design. So it means that they can do that for the PhD, but for the postdoc is totally different because they just need to present their timing for the research internship. So it's not a problem for us.
So both of those are open then, graduate students to come to Australia
Mhm.
and also postdocs to come.
Yeah, undergrad and postdoc.
Can I just clarify, so by postdoc, you mean lecturers, professors?
Yeah.
So, right.
If they have PhD degree, they can apply for a postdoc.
Perfect.
Because they have already the PhD degree. So the postdoc, it's a research internship that they can do abroad. So it's very free in terms of credits, you know. They just need to have the commitment to develop a research and then publish some pieces of the research, and on the way back to prove that they had this internship period.
So it's not restricted to junior people. Could be. That's the question, right?
That was a question. I think you answered it. So they can be any stage in their career, and they can be tenured or not tenured. As long as they've got their PhD, they can apply for a postdoc.
Yeah.
So, do you have a document that summarizes what you've said?
Sure.
That we can refer to?
Yeah, I'll send you by email, and we can have some individual meetings if you have questions or.
The webinar will be useful.
Yeah,
My organisation was still after the online session we had. I sort of tried to relay as much as I could about the program, but they sort of lacked the detail to really engage. So
The webinar has to do with the doctoral school, but we also can organize a webinar regarding the getting into the world of science for sure.
We need a written.
Yeah, we have a written document. We have all the written documents I will send you. We have the memorandum of understanding. We also have the institutional offer and acceptance letters. So we have all the documents in English that we're already sending to the partner institutions. We can share together with all of you that have some interest in hosting our students.
Another comment. I understand from my colleagues in Sao Paulo, where I was the last few days, that there is a state government visit from New South Wales to Sao Paulo state. And of course, we're all from New South Wales, like Paraná state. And in my experience, it's an unbelievably good opportunity to have a politician make a commitment to joint programs because they want to have something to announce. So you might look into that to see whether you could get the New South Wales government visit, which I think may include the Premier, to come to Paraná. Because then, if we've got a plan to have some cooperative arrangements, then they cannot resist the opportunity to announce.
I think they're coming this April, you know. They're coming this April.
I think it might be June or July, but I'll find out.
Yeah, because I'll be in April. We'll have a very important international conference, international educational conference called FOBI. And I know there will be a delegation.
This is more high level. This is the Premier and it's industry cooperation.
Okay. So it might be another delegation because the embassy will be there, and we'll have some meetings together with the other Australian universities there. So I'm not sure about the list and
it's the state government, not the English.
Okay, yeah, but as the embassy and consulate will be there, and I know they have a matching agenda, so. Yeah, let us know, and of course we can send also an invitation for them to come to Paraná State and have some meetings together with the government.
Yeah, well, I think you should chase the opportunity. I'll let you know. Contacts in Sao Paulo who can tell you what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
I have a more, I guess, pedestrian question about like funds for the people when they're there. Because the cost of living can be very different between the two places. So is the cost of living like whatever the stipend they get, like would they need a complementary stipend, for example, for one of the postdocs, or how are you managing that in the different countries? Because they all, like living in each is very different.
Yeah, so Under the Get Into the World of Science program, what we are discussing together with the partner institution is not to charge for institutional fees. So this is one of the requirements because we pay for the scholarship depending on the cost of the local country or city, for example. So we have an average of a scholarship for international exchange, that it's one metric based by the federal government. But when discussing together with the partner institution, if that's not enough and we need to complement because of the living expenses, we can supplement. So it depends on the negotiation with each institution, you know. So I'm having this average of the costs from each institution, from individual countries, so that we can have the average to cover all the costs.
But isn't that solved by what the president said, that, and I've done this before with other countries, where the sending country pays the travel, receiving country pays the cost, the costs of accommodation.
Sure.
Then you don't have to worry about that.
No, it depends on, we're discussing lots of programs. So one of them is the Getting the Word of Science. This is one specific program, exchange program, very similar to the Science Without program supported by the federal government years ago. So this is one exchange program for undergrad students and postdoc researchers. For this program, the selected ones will receive a scholarship from Araucaria Foundation that will cover all the living costs and plane tickets and health insurance. So this is one model of partnership. If you want to host our student, the only requirement is to sign the Memorandum of Understanding and together with us, select the undergrad students and postdoc researchers. This is one model of collaboration. The other model of collaboration is the doctoral school. The doctoral school, there's no budget involved at this moment. It's just a partnership in terms of joint virtual activities. Of course, that we're planning to motivate this network of researchers by launching some calls, but we are not ready for that yet. The activities will be virtually at the first stage. The other way of having collaboration together is the designing of joint projects. So what we expect from you is by the end of this mission, by Saturday, you design a joint proposal together with the Paraná state researchers. For that, we will support Paraná researchers and you will support Australian researchers. If we invest $50,000, we want you to invest $50,000. If we invest $100,000, we want the matching funding as well. So in this designing of the joint projects for research missions or for anything that you need under the project development, we pay the expenses in Paraná. So we pay the expenses for our Paraná researchers to go to Australia, you know, and when they are there, you cover their living expenses. And when you come to Paraná, Australia covers the plane tickets and we cover your living expenses here. So this is another model of joint collaboration. When we discuss joint projects, we need to discuss matching fundings.
That's fine.
Well, you know, so I'm just explaining three models of the different collaborations with the different funding designs. So of course that we can clarify as much as possible for you, but we have three potentialities to work together in 3 different arrangements.
Okay, I just had a student from Sao Paulo. They came out PhD student for 6 months.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo paid all of their living expenses, their travel. We paid all of their research expenses.
Okay.
So when they were there, we paid the glass house. We did all the scientific, gave them all the scientific equipment he needed, and that was the arrangement that we had made.
Yeah. So it's this model that we can discuss, the research design model and the research development model, you know. So we can discuss that. So what I mean is when we discuss joint projects proposal, that's something that you're designing, it's co-funding models. And we are open to discuss in any kind of numbers you want to invest in this partnership.
If we don't have a proposal completed by Saturday.
We can maybe think about extending the deadline.
I don't know if you know much about Australia. So many pages. It's unlikely.
Yeah.
Completed by Saturday, but what we were hoping to do, have interactions with the Brazilians, and they would have interactions with us. We try and come up with some ideas about what might work, and we would go home, figure things out.
Yeah. So, you know, one model that we discussed together with the regional network of universities some weeks ago is that we're going to finance 10 projects. 10 projects. I think it's 10 projects up to $50,000 to research, to project design. Missions in a period of 6 months. After 6 months, they need to present their proposal. So we will accept 10 proposals to research design. After that, we are going to select the 5 best ones, and we will support the research development, you know. So the first one for research design, that's just technical missions up to $50,000, and for the project design up to $100,000. So considering matching fundings, just for you to have an idea, we just announced together with the ambassador from the Australian ambassador who was here, and together with the regional network of universities, and in 3 weeks, I'll be together with the Victoria State universities and government, and the proposal is the same, and it's the same for you. So we can have just this as an example of something that we are discussing together with the Australian universities, you know, just to have some idea. And if you want more time for the project design, it's something that you can propose. Okay, so let's have some project design now from the next 6 months. And then after that, we can ideally come to a good project development with higher financial support.
That. I mean, we're here representing our institute. We're not actually seeking necessary collaborations ourselves, or I'm open to it, but we've got 30 excellent researchers back home in our institute, 100 PhD students and so forth. So we're going to try and work out who to match up out of our institute with the great people we meet here. So there's actually no capacity to really design projects for the people this week. It's about kind of making the connections and then letting that evolve. Right. You know?
Yeah, sure. We're going
give them a sense of urgency, but
you're going to have some technical visits to some of our institutes,
right?
And of course, that you can discuss further collaboration together. So,
Again, we are think of so during all the visit, you discuss the possibilities. We have specific sessions on some thematic, some themes that we think that could be some match between the researchers. And then the idea is that in the last session in Foz do Iguaçu, we could bring the outputs from this session.
That's the idea.
And the main points, the main top points of collaboration. And then from that, they will put us in contact with people from there, and we will have this time to design the project. And
yeah, maybe when we'll come to this coming Saturday, You can have some ideas of the big areas for collaboration, who is involved with whom.
And also the
And then from that, you could say, okay, so I think we need more time to discuss. So let's have a project design proposal. So we have, you know, joint collaboration to have one semester with the visits and further time to discuss the final proposal.
I think like all of us will need to go home and talk to our institute
Sure,
directors of the
yeah,
universities to
yeah.
get the particular approval to go forward with them.
And on our side, we'll support our researchers to go to Australia, to your institution, and then to have some time discussing this joint project.
And do you think about the number of projects? Because Ramiro told something about 3 projects in this. So
Yeah, so
we could think
it's the number of the president.
well, for example, because you want there would be one more related to the genomics, another related to ecosystem service, and another of like the restoration and
Yeah, I think the numbers has to do with the big research areas, you know, so you're the ones that can tell us.
Perhaps we can change this number, right? That's 4.
Yeah, I think you need to consider the main research areas involved in this delegation and the ones that you're going to meet during this week. You know, and the potential researchers and the research institutes and universities you're going to visit. And then by the end, you can design the main areas of collaboration. Yeah, I think tell right now about numbers, not the right thing to do. I think we need to think about research areas and then what are the main ones for this visit. Depending on the researchers they are going to meet and interact with. Okay, just food for thought. Let's have some coffee.
Helene, may I have a goodbye?
Yeah, sure.
I wish you all a great day.
Besides of the weather.
Can present here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Other people online, was it for hours?
No, there are people fine.
Oh, okay. So that's just saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Slept you.
There you go. 82.
Yeah. 82. Yeah, I think that yours was very pleasant.
I mean, it's always like that. I heard somebody complain. They were funny. Really long.
Thanks. A brief presentation of each institution by our representative, and then we will give just an overview of the mission. So I would like to invite now the Dr. Ian Wright to make a presentation about the Hawkesbury Institute for the Environment of the Western Sydney University. So please feel free, Ian. Thank you for coming and then please feel free to do that presentation.
Thank you, Ali, and thank you to the online audience as well. So my name's Ian Wright. I'm the Chief Scientist of the Hawkesbury Institute of Environment at Western Sydney University, and I've been asked to just give a brief overview of the university and our institute. So first of all, to help you understand where we're from, here's a map of Australia and the state of New South Wales, or NSW, state labelled there on the right-hand side of the map. And the big red dot there represents Sydney. So New South Wales has a population of about 8 million people, and Sydney has about 5 million of those people. And within Sydney itself, the western part of Sydney, which is where our university is located, has very dense population and is very culturally diverse. So there's people from many different cultures and countries there, and there's something like 40% of people speak languages other than English at home there, and in some local government areas it's much higher. So it's around about 70%. So our university, WSU, or Western Sydney University, is what's called a young university. It's less than 50 years old, and in fact it was formed in just 1989 from the amalgamation of some existing colleges. So for example, our campus of Western Sydney Uni was the New South Wales Agricultural College for a century before that, which explains why we have so many cows and horses and sheep and things also on campus with us. But one of the things that sets Western Sydney apart, WSU apart from being a young university, is that in our DNA, so to speak, is we need to provide education for the region, which is a different sort of charter than a lot of standard universities have. So more than 3/4 of our students are from Western Sydney. And we have 50,000 students roundabout all up, and that includes 6,300 from international destinations. So it's a very multicultural university within a very multicultural context. Universities really love rankings, so I'm sort of obligated to note that we're in one of the top 50 universities in the world of young universities. We're in the top 2% of universities worldwide, at least in higher education metrics or so forth. But the ranking that our university is most excited about right now, and I thought might be of interest here, is that there's this new type of ranking called the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking, which is based on an organization's articulation with the United Nations Sustainability or Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. And so Western Sydney Uni takes this very seriously, and we've actually been ranked #1 in the world 2 years in a row. And so that's about how our teaching and research outreach and stewardship of resources all articulates with the SDGs. So, for example, something that's on the agenda is trying to make the whole university carbon neutral over the next few years, which is easier when you're a regional university. You have plenty of land, you can do lots of tree plantings and so forth. But still, I think it's an interesting. I know the sustainability has a lot of currency, cultural currency here as well, in Brazil and in Paraná state. Okay, so there's 3 of us here at this meeting are from Hawkesbury Institute for the Environment, or HIE, which within the university ecosystem is a high impact research institute with around about 200 staff and students, research students. We have 30 permanent academics and around about 100 PhD students, a lot of postdocs and also technical staff and professional staff, of course. And among our 30 academics, there's 4 people are highly cited researchers, 3 fellows of the Australian Academy of Sciences. We have a laureate fellows and so forth. So it's a pretty accomplished bunch of people there at HIE. What's so interesting about the HIE is that the research strengths cover a lot of different themes. There's 3 overarching research themes shown here in the diagram on the right. There's ecosystem function of integration, plants, animals and interactions, and soil biology and genomics. And I'll talk a little bit about each of those in a minute. And more broadly, I can say that in our institute, we work on soils, forests, grasslands and crops. We're interested in issues such as climate change and land use change, and a lot of our work involves trying to scale between the molecule to the organ, to the tissue, to the organ, to the whole plant, to the whole ecosystem. So it's a institute that has very broad themes, and crossing scales is one of the overarching themes as well. As another example of the breadth of the institute, I thought this might be of interest. This is from Scopus. It's just a publication profile for 6 years, where we produced 1,800 publications. That's a great amount, but that's not the point. What I'm trying to demonstrate here is the breadth of the research. So of those 1,800 publications, almost 40% represent environmental sciences, 9% earth sciences, 65% agricultural and biological sciences, and another 30% on the left there, biochemistry, genetics, molecular biology, and microbiology. So again, it's a pretty diverse bunch of people within the institute. So in the next few slides, I'll just go quickly through these different research themes. So one is the soil biology and genomics. So we're interested in trying to understand the soil biology. So that's the microbes and all the little creatures in the soil, the fungi and microbes and insects and so forth. We have very traditional soil sciences as well in the theme. People are trying to understand nutrient cycling and ecosystem services. And again, there's an emphasis on the very applied and practical side, the management to improve soil health and plant productivity and so forth. And again, within the context of climate change. We have the plants, animals and interactions. So this is a broad theme where a lot of us are in the theme who are ecologists and also physiologists, again, working across all these different organismal groups and their interactions. We work in the field and in the laboratory. We've had some wonderful facilities there. And I couldn't resist the temptation to show a couple of interesting creatures. So at the bottom there, we have the flying fox, it's Australian macro bat. And these animals are very strongly affected by heat waves. So we're seeing with climate change an increasing prevalence and severity of heat waves, massive issues with these animals literally dying and falling out of trees and so forth. And I've got a picture there of an insect carrying pollen because there's a very strong emphasis on pollination ecology and ecosystem services in that theme. And then in the third theme, ecosystem function and integration, as the name implies, it's really about trying to put together all the different pieces across scales. So we ask questions such as how ecosystems respond to changes in rainfall, temperature, CO2 and fire, again, bringing together ecology and physiology, molecular biology and theory, all together with observations, experiments and modeling, trying to integrate our understanding across all these different scales. We're really lucky at HIE to have some great facilities. On the right here, you can see those, what they're called whole tree chambers. These are literally kind of just huge chambers which allow us to grow whole trees within them and manipulate the CO2 concentration in there and the temperature and the moisture they receive. And so we can make whole tree studies of carbon fluxes and nutrient fluxes and what's happening in the soil and the plants and putting it all together. The conical shape is actually because these originally came from Sweden and they were designed for conifers, but we use them for eucalypts and in fact all sorts of other different types of species. One of the flagship facilities we have is the Eucalyptus Free Air CO2 Enrichment Experiment, or EUCFACE. So what this is a series of these large rings where CO2 is being pumped continuously into the forest, which allows us to increase the CO2 concentration within that ring to 150 parts per million above the ambient. So this is simulating the atmosphere under future carbon dioxide concentrations. So this has been running continuously for 11 years now, and it allows us to ask questions such as how eucalypt forests, which grow on characteristically low phosphorus soils, how will they respond to rising CO2? And again, it's about putting together the ecology and the physiology with models to try and understand the ecosystem scale, water and nutrient and carbon cycles. So we used to say in describing this experiment that this was the only FACE experiment on low phosphorus soils worldwide, which gave it a very special significance. But there is actually one new one, which is the Amazon FACE experiment. So Brazil has its own FACE experiment now as well. To sort of change things up a bit here in the last year, we've been adding phosphorus to the soil to have a new kind of a dimension to the research. We're very proud of our glasshouse facilities. There's one set of them called the National Vegetable Protective Cropping Centre, or NVPCC, which just rolls off the tongue. It's a really amazing facility though. It's 1,800 square metres of advanced glasshouse facilities. We can control, again, the temperature, the humidity, the CO2. We can deliver all the water and the nutrients hydroponically. And this allows us to conduct research where the overarching goal is to try and maximise productivity of the crops that we're growing while minimising the nutrient use, the water use, the energy costs and pesticide use and so forth. You can see that some of the glass houses there have pink roofs and blue roofs, and this relates to our smart film research program that David will be able to tell you more about during the week. And the basic principle here is that there's a whole lot of wavelengths of light that plants are unable to use. But using smart film technology, we're able to convert incoming light into usable wavelengths of light and also protect the plants from wavelengths that they don't want. And so you can really manipulate the light environment of plants using this technology. And this has a very, very impressive boosts to productivity. It's a very cool program. Pastures and climate extremes, or PACE, is another interesting facility. So again, as you can see, we have a lot of emphasis in the Institute on climate change. Here in these rainout shelters, we can warm the soils and the plants by, for example, 3 degrees and change the rainfall that they receive. So we can change both the amount of rainfall they receive and the season in which they receive it, again, to mimic challenging climates of coming decades. And this allows us to ask questions such as, which grasses or which legume herb mixtures increase climate resilience and soil carbon storage and pasture. Now I'll just mention a couple of large projects that I thought might be of interest to Araucaria Foundation and to this audience. So one of them is the New South Wales Bushfire and Natural Hazards Research Centre. So Western Sydney Uni has the lead node in this partnership between the New South Wales government and 6 university partners. And we're asked all sorts of important questions about fire regimes, about management practices, again, putting together empirical work and modelling and so forth. Another one is the New South Wales Decarbonisation Innovation Hub. Again, it brings together the New South Wales government and 7 university partners, of which Western Sydney is one. And the overall aim is to develop research commercialisation to do with decarbonising technologies and practices. So we lead the Land and Primary Industries Network, where you have interests in digital precision agriculture and sustainability, so sustainable natural landscapes, sustainable agriculture, sustainable urban transformation, and so forth. So I think these are the same kind of themes we heard about today in relation to what's happening here in Paraná state. And finally, we, like many people, has a very strong focus on internationalization. So our researchers partner with people across the world, but to this point, we have fairly poorly developed relationships with people here in Brazil. So we're very excited to be here in Paraná. And one of the reasons that it's so relevant for us is there are many shared challenges between Brazil and Australia. Many of our soils are low fertility, just as they are here in Brazil. I think 58% of soils in Brazil are considered low phosphorus. Here in Brazil, like in Australia, you're getting increased fires and heat waves and drought, very environmentally challenging conditions. And these have massive effects on forestry, agriculture, and natural systems. So we share a lot of challenges. I think between us, we can develop shared solutions. So anyway, the three of us here from WSU, myself and David Tissue and Uffe Nielsen, and we're excited to learn about research here in Paraná and opportunities for collaboration with our researchers. As I say, we're here representing our institute and our 30 academics and our many postdocs and so forth. So we'll see what we can build over this next week, kind of points of intersection. Thanks very much. Who is next?
Okay, so thank you, Ian, for the presentation. I'd like also to invite now grant host to present. You can stay just to make the presentation about the Macquarie University.
Thank you. Ian's given you quite a good introduction. I covered a number of things I was going to go through, so I'll make this brief and give you a bit of an overview of our university. So we are in beautiful Sydney. Our university was established in 1964, so we are 60 years old. We are in the northern suburbs of Sydney, about 15 kilometres from the CBD. The name Macquarie derived from Lachlan Macquarie, who was an early governor of the English or British colony of Sydney in 1810 to 1821. He was quite a progressive governor, a forward thinker, and we have taken his name to the university. We call our campus the Wallamadigal campus, which is named after the Wallamadigal clan, who are the traditional owners of the lands on which the university is situated. And we have a very close association with First Nations people in the area of the university, but also we work with them closely in various ways across the country. And engagement with First Nations people is something we're very passionate about in terms of our teaching and our research wherever we can. We have certainly real strength in Indigenous engagement and Indigenous research in various areas. We're a world-class university. Like the numbers that Ian showed you, we are ranked in the top 200 universities in the world, in the top 100 for global graduate employment. We have around $4 million a year in scholarships for international students, so plenty of opportunities for co-tutel and joint PhDs, for example. If you look at one window of our university, on one side we have one of Australia's largest, fastest growing and most valuable innovation districts, where there is the headquarters, the Asia Pacific headquarters for a large number of leading global tech and pharmaceutical companies with whom we partner and engage. We also have on campus Australia's fully integrated health precinct, where we have our own on-campus hospital, which has created huge opportunities for research as well. Like Ian promoted, we're not quite at the same level as Western Sydney University, but we were ranked first in the world for the UN Sustainability Goal of Life Below Water, and also fourth in the world for clean water and sanitation, and I think 39th globally overall in the Sustainable Development rankings, which we too are quite proud and has certainly overlapped to the kinds of topics we'll be talking about on this trip. We are a comprehensive university. We have four faculties: Faculty of Arts, business school, Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences, and our faculty, which I would like to say is the best faculty in the university, which is Science and Engineering. But certainly we have great strength across all of those areas. We have a number of high-level, sort of national-level partnerships. We have the Australian Genome Foundry, which I believe is the only genome foundry, certainly in New South Wales and I think the country. We have a great investment in hearing and the science of hearing. We have the Australian Institute for Health Innovation, the Woolcock Medical Research Institute that focuses on sleep and breathing. We have the Sydney Quantum Academy, and we have Australian Astronomical Optics, and there is not a major telescope in the world that doesn't have input from Australian Astronomical Optics in its construction. We will soon also have a $96 million RNA facility, research and development facility built on campus, and you'll hear some more about that, no doubt, from my colleagues from the University of New South Wales. In terms of our major or national research centres, we have great deep expertise in synthetic biology, biophotonics, quantum engineering, digital health. Smartcrete is about innovations in the concrete industry, looking at sustainable products and sustainable development and use of concretes. And we also have strength in digital finance. Thinking more about our faculty, Faculty of Science and Engineering, we participate in a number of university research centres around. One is DataX, which is innovations in data analysis across disciplines. Smart Green Cities, and I know that's quite aligned with your key development areas that you have for the Arcaria Foundation. Future Communications leverages our expertise in wireless technologies and as co-inventor of Wi-Fi. We have strength in astrophysics and space technologies, and our neurobiology, animal behaviour, philosophy expertise comes together in the Macquarie Minds and Intelligence Initiative. Within our faculty, we particularly relevant to this conversations is that we have an on-campus fauna park, and just across the road we have Border National Park. So we on one side of the university we have a national park, the other side we have a very significant financial and innovation district. We have extensive plant growth facilities. We have an ecology reserve on campus, and we have quite high-level analytical and fabrication facilities on campus to support our research. Within our School of Natural Sciences, where Adam, Julian and I call home, we have expertise. The research strengths we have there are in animal behaviour and neurobiology, earth systems, science, earth surface processes, environment and conservation, and within that, biodiversity, pure ecology and evolution, chemical analysis and innovative chemical systems. And we have real strengths in omic technologies of various kinds and synthetic biology. As I mentioned earlier, is a key strength. So that's a bit of an overview of Macquarie University. I'd like to particularly thank the Arcaria Foundation for hosting us, for having us, and Hallie for doing all the work, although I'm sure he's not alone in that and has a great team behind him. So thank you all. And we look forward to having conversations this week, meeting people, talking science and finding some new ways to work together. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Mauricio Rossetto to present about the Botanical Gardens of Sydney.
Thanks. Going back to the start, please. So, just a moment. Start anyway. So, as I mentioned before, my name is Maurizio Rossetto, and I'm from the Botanical Gardens of Sydney. I feel humbled to be in company of such big institutions and universities with obviously we're just a state government institution, which we're much smaller. We've got a smaller scope. Can we go up to the first slide? Job. Oh, keep going. Wrong way. No, wrong way. Okay. And I'm very good at technology. Oh, it's not titles. Sorry. But at the same way, obviously, I can't. I'm not going to talk about a whole series of different areas of research. Our main focus is in biodiversity research and different ways to look at biodiversity. As an institution ourselves, at least one, since everybody's got a claim of being first at everything, we are the oldest scientific institution in Australia. So that's what we were first off. That's where science started in Australia. So there. We have 3 different sites. We have the Botanic Garden in Sydney, which is the one there in the picture there. Then we've got another Botanic Garden, which is an Australian focused, native Australian Botanic Garden in Paraná in Campbelltown, out west. And then in the Blue Mountain, we've got a upland, cooler climate Botanic Garden. As far as research, all the research within the institution is grouped together within the Australian Institute of Botanical Science, and is divided between Montana and Campbelltown and Sydney, the Sydney facilities. In Montana, we just moved most of the research to the herbarium there, and most of the associated research. I remember now 3 years ago. Brand new facilities, state of the art, fantastic collections, fantastic labs, and beautiful buildings, architectural building, all sorts of prices. But we were really focused in maintaining some science within Sydney, because that's where all business is and where all the money is and where all our collaborators are. So my team, the Research Centre for Ecosystem Resilience, stayed in Sydney, and we just moved in a brand new renovated facility last week. So it's exciting times. There's our labs there, and we're still setting everything up. But it gives us really a good opportunity now. We have all our offices, all our lab, all our workshop areas in areas within one site in Sydney, at least for us, for Research Centre for Ecosystem Resilience, and it makes it much easier for us to deal with everyone and display the work that we do. So, as I said, we're a relatively small team. And most of it is, not most of it, but a big component of it is externally funded. We do have a lot of, we're accounted for a lot of PhD students from Australia and from overseas, and we try to, most of us research funding is external funding. So we try to do our best. As science, we're also working in very close collaboration with the education and horticultural side of things, so that we have a uniform strategies and strategies, obviously documents that we try to update and keep updated every 5 or so years, so that we have common directions of interest. And those documents also serve in developing collaboration, not only with other similar institutions, but also with the university and to seek funding. So as far as funding strategy, we have a range of opportunities, because we not only can apply for the traditional standard grants, but we also have means and ways to get money from foundations like university, but we've got many less competing interests. It's easy for us to support some of them. Okay, quickly into what we do, and I want to start to talk about the Research Centre for Ecosystem Resilience, which is the team that I lead. And what we focus on is really very focused on genetics and genomics, and combining, associating this data with ecological, environmental, and functional data. And what we're really interested in is trying to understand what are the factors that drive the biodiversity distribution patterns that we see. So understanding why species are distributed, assembled the way they are, The reason why that's really critical, and the reason why the genetic piece is so important, is that it gives us not only an understanding of dynamic processes, but also dynamic processes through time. So we feel that we get a better understanding of how species and assemblages, communities have interacted with each other, past and present, and puts in a better position to make decision and prediction on how they will respond to the future. Another very good focus, very important focus for us as an institution and for us as the center, is to make sure that all the learnings that we do are also not only used to understand a natural world, but also used and translated into applied actions. So we want to make sure that the science we do can provide and support biodiversity management strategies, and in a very applied way, not just here's a paper, read it and deal with it, in providing guidance and support for the relevant stakeholders. And my vision has been also to be able to do that. We cannot just focus on a few model species, but we really have to develop the system to apply those kind of approaches to large number of species, whole system species, whole landscape species, because that's the only way to make it efficient and effective. And we all know as ecologists that there is no such thing as generalization. We really need to look at it into more deeply. So the kind of things that we do is that we're really focused on right now is on guiding to provide the relevant information, particularly genetic information, which information to guide restoration practices, threatened species management, but also we're focusing more and more into policy development. How do we make sure that when we're talking about preserving genetic diversity and we want to follow UN guidelines on preserving genetic diversity, what is genetic diversity? How do we measure? How do we make decision on what to prioritize, and how do we monitor success versus failure? So those are the kind of policy type of developments that we're interested in, and obviously being government, we interact with influence is across government and beyond. Those are just some of the projects we're working in, and I've already mentioned some of those, so I won't go on. Just one of the main focuses that I was saying before, and I want to just spend 2 seconds on it, is this concept of knowledge infrastructure and how to do that from a genomic point of view. The idea there is to develop approaches and workflows that enable you to gather information across large number of species, across all distribution, cost effectively, time effectively, and in a way that is replicated and replicable and informative. You don't have to know everything there is to know about every single species to support its management, but you have to know enough and make sure that you have the type of information that will guide a positive outcome, right? Rather than generalized based on Arabidopsis. And so we've been very successful in doing that. And then, as I said before, the other important thing is all this science is then translatable into applied ways. So, for example, we've got a web tool that is just about to be updated and placed into Adapt New South Wales, which is a government-based interface. But a web tool where practitioner can, or Restaurant Renew, where practitioner can select the location, select the species that they're interested in. And if we have data, because if we don't have data, we do not put generalization, then the web tool calculates on the fly the genetic provenance that it should use, the climate, how to future climate proof that genetic provenance, the restoration practice, and many, many other things. In the new version will come up, we'll have many, many more. Again, the point, and one last point, because I don't have many more important things to talk about, but the other important thing about the knowledge infrastructure is that the way it becomes so cost effective and so efficient is that if you do it properly, the one event of gathering information will give you many, many different outcomes, not only conservation outcomes, but biological, intellectual outcomes and policy outcomes, all from the same starting point. If you need more information, you know where to get it because you've got all. Right. Let me just quickly go through the other type of research that we do with the Botanic Garden. In Sydney, we also have a plant clinic, which is a plant path lab. There's strong focus on Phytophthora, Fusarium, and Myrtle Rust. And although it's mostly a commercial service, we also work in some cases, some very beautiful places, research such as Lord Howe. Just off the coast.
Lord Howe, it's a tough
no, unfortunately, not me. The herbarium at Marnan in Campbelltown is there's another first that we can claim. It's the largest one in Australia, very relatively small compared to other herbarium around the world, but it's brand new. We have digitized all our specimen, and that enables us to do all sorts of things. So we do a lot of machine learning studies to try to see how we can use all that information and extract all the information, and then do all sorts of analysis, for example. And we also, of course, use that collection for the extraction. Then, of course, we've got taxonomists and systematists associated with the herbarium, and they do the usual thing that taxonomists and systematists do. One of the projects that they're particularly interested in now is getting the genome of all the species from New South Wales. We do have a seed bank still at Montana. Again, state of the art. We've got multiple bolts, and we work with the seed bank. The research center works with the seed bank closely to ensure that more and more those ex situ collection consider the genetic piece more closely. So unfortunately, a lot of the seed collections in Australia and around the world were based on agricultural principles and on numbers rather than quality, on quantity rather than quality. Now we are really moving away from that kind of concept, so that those seed collections are actually useful, not just stem collections. It's a slow process, but we are getting there. And the seed bank and ourselves have worked together also in actual restoration and translocation activity for threatened species. And then finally, there's also a plant bank where there is a little bit more seed biology work. And again, with our help, and there's a set of us research facilities, and with our help, we are working towards developing meta collections for threatened species. So the Wallamar pine, is a good example, where a set of collections, small collections, have been sent around the world just to set the safety, to ensure the safety of the species. And the genetics of every single individual to try to have mixes that are representative and replicable. At this stage, it's kind of more of a stunt, but we are doing the same for species that are impacted by myrtle rust, which is that comes from South America. Thank you very much. But that is really having a huge impact on Rictaceae, and so some of the species that were very common are now close to extinct, and so we have to develop. We're doing work on resistance, genomic work on resistance, and practical work on resistance, but we're also trying to ensure that ex situ collection, meta collection are sufficiently represented from a genetic point of view and look at it in different ways. Just to finalize this, our experience with Brazilians exchange are pretty much the kind of concept that you were talking about. We've been most of our, and those are just the most recent ones, are from Santa Catarina. And it's been working really well. In fact, Carolina there is now employed by us, and she's working as one of our in the conservation genomics team. And what I'm really hoping that we get out of this exciting meeting is to have more opportunity to do that and actually develop projects, as I was saying before, in Brazil as well, because I can see that there are a lot of similarity. Everybody else has been talking about that, and a lot of opportunities, you know, and exchange, education, and all these kind of concepts are really good opportunities. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you all.
Thank you, Maurizio, for the presentation. Now I'd like to invite now Dr. Joshua Peterson to present the RNA issue at the University of New South Wales.
Yeah, obrigado. So thank you for the invite. Yeah, Joshua Peterson, Chief Operating Officer. And I've got just one slide on UNSW. Yep, there we go. So in the yellow circle, so we're in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, not far from the Opera House, which is at the top of the map, and not far from some world famous beaches as well. But we don't let that distract us. They're quite excited this year to crack the top 20 in the worldwide rankings, and #1 in Australia for several metrics there. But importantly for the RNA Institute, for us, we've got a strong reputation for cross-disciplinary research collaborations. So the Institute itself was founded in just 2021 with some investment from UNSW and the New South Wales Office of Health and Medical Research. And it was really to foster some of the cross-disciplinary research activities and also build an RNA ecosystem in the state of New South Wales. So the similar efforts to build sovereign capability in Brazil as well, and in some of the other areas of Australia. But our focus initially was on the New South Wales ecosystem. So bringing research together in the RNA chemistry, biology, and medicine, faculties of science, engineering, medicine, and health around a core facility, which is a production facility, to give researchers access to preclinical RNA therapeutics, RNA materials. And then the focus of our institute was on discovery research through preclinical studies. So we have a research arm, which actually got emails overnight. We now have 30 academics, 25. And then we've got the production arm, which is about 15 staff. On the research side, so we've had kind of key challenges that were identified in priority health areas as well. RNA interactions is kind of a catch-all for the fundamental biology, biochemistry, genomics, things like that. Delivery, sensing, diagnostics, manufacturing, a bit more self-explanatory. Priority health areas, so a lot of our funding materialized out of COVID. So COVID-19 was the initial focus, but that's quickly changed to infectious diseases in general. Cancer, rare and genetic disorders in children, and neurological disorders. So the academics affiliated with the Institute, so John and Celine are here. Based in science, Faculty of Science. We've got different schools as well. So science, engineering, and medicine. The research really covers everything from fundamental, early discovery research through to treating patients in the clinic. So, and everything in between. So trying to summarize what all the academics are doing is quite difficult. Don't really try too hard. I've got some key points up there in our different areas of interest. Genetics, epigenetics, delivery is big for us. Sensing, manufacturing. John, like I mentioned, John and Celine are here. Talk quite extensively about their research. So a lot of the academics do research that crosses with the RNA Institute, but they also have broader interests as well. And if you're interested, I do have a cheat sheet of our academic team and some of their key research areas. So let me know if you like. The accelerator, the core facility, so it's set up to produce synthetic RNA and DNA, plasmid DNA, mRNA, and nanoparticle formulations, and then all the quality control and analytics around that. And we also do peptide synthesis, and we were even built with a clean room in case of emergency need to make GMP-like material at any stage. And we've been ISO 9001 certified for manufacture and design and development of RNA therapeutics. So that's internationally recognized accreditation for having quality systems in place to demonstrate to people that we're making what we say we're making, and we have reasonable standards and acceptance criteria for those products. We also lead the New South Wales RNA Production and Research Network. So this is where the funding from New South Wales Health came in. And that was to seed the ecosystem with these three projects there. So delivery of mRNA for CRISPR-Cas9 guide RNA, respiratory delivery for mRNA vaccines and siRNA treatments for COVID, and the siRNA lipid nanoparticles for treatment of COVID. So this network primarily formed between like 5 universities and 6 key medical research institutes around Sydney, and there are some other affiliate institutes and organizations and centers as well. This was, like I said, to seed the RNA pipeline in New South Wales. It took about 8 months to get all the contracts in place. And so we actually had projects that we were starting before these were ready to go. But now we're up to about 40 or 50 projects. And this is the capabilities slide for the accelerator. So, synthetic RNA, we're making guide RNA. We just started making guide RNA for CRISPR, plasmid DNA, mRNA formulations, and then quality control. As I mentioned, and we're right down the hall from the Ramachadi Center for Genomics, which is the largest university-based genomics facility in Australia. So you can take our samples just down the hall to get analyzed there. So we've got some particular strengths, unique strengths in the RNA space. So synthetic RNA, a lot of organic synthetic chemistry involved in that. But we do a lot of modifications, fluorescent labels, etc. Also a lot of chemical analytical chemistry-based techniques to be applied for synthetic and mRNA, and mass spectroscopy, things like that. So in the RNA space around Australia, these are the areas that we're particularly strong in for the accelerator side, the production and quality. So, key partners around Australia. So we're part of the National Critical Research Infrastructure Strategy, Therapeutics Innovation Australia. So there are 4 RNA nodes around the country. And these are university-based facilities that give researchers and industry access to RNA production capabilities. And there are also mechanisms to provide funding support for that. Our director, Paul Thordarson, he leads the New South Wales RNA Bioscience Alliance. That's an alliance of all 14 universities in New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territory. I mentioned the RNA Production and Research Network previously. Also, RNA Australia is the New South Wales government program to also build the RNA ecosystem in New South Wales. So that includes the $96 million GMP pilot production facility to make clinical trial material that Grant mentioned up at Macquarie Uni. There's also a $119 million 10-year R&D fund to help prime the system and to produce a pipeline of products that can hopefully successfully through preclinical trials that can get into this clinical manufacturing facility. So across the research and the accelerator, we've got quite a wall of areas of interest. Point of genomics, bioinformatics, a lot of cancer, interest in rare and genetic diseases, infectious disease, so HIV, malaria, and dengue fever. We have quite interest now in a big project in animal diseases. So we produced Australia's first manufactured animal mRNA vaccine last month, delivered that. And then manufacturing quality control, because we're the first certified RNA production facility in Australia, we're getting pushed and to fill the gap for the GMP manufacturing. So we're also doing a lot of work with the regulatory agencies on ironing out regulatory issues around RNA therapeutic. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua, for the presentation. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Alberto Charrua from Universidade de Licumbo to present the institution.
Morning. My name is Alberto Charrua. I will briefly present Licumbo University in Mozambique. Licumbo University is located in central region of Mozambique. I don't know how to point it. Oh, sorry. I'd like to point, but it's okay. I think that all of you here can see where is Mozambique, the southeastern area of region in Africa, and Licumbo University, it's located in central regions of Mozambique, in Sofala and Zambezia province. Licumbo University, it came from a division of an old university called Pedagogical University that was spread in every country. And the central government decided to divide the Pedagogical University to point. Okay, okay, thank you. Okay. Okay.
Don't work on this.
That's part of the line. Okay. I will continue. And the Pedagogical University, with more than 30 years, it was divided into 5 universities. And Licumbo University is one of them from the 5. It covered 2 provinces, as I told, and it's public university. The headquarters of Licumbo University is in Zambezia province, that one. In Beira, Sofala province, we have 2 campuses. One of them in Beira city. It's called the Pontagea campus, and another one is in Dondo campus. And also we have the headquarters in Zambezia. Here I'm showing what we call academic units. It is include faculties and research centers. In Zambezia, we have faculty of economics and management, faculty of agricultural science, faculty of medicine, faculty of education. In Sofala province, where I'm coming from, there are faculty of letters and humanities, faculty of science and technology, where I'm belonging to. In terms of research centers, we have in Zambezia 2 research centers, namely agricultural research centers and Center for Research in Education and Humanities. In Sofala province, we have a Center for Research and Development of Applied Technology and Center for Community Development and Environmental Studies. In terms of staff and students, as I said, we are very new university. what we called administrative technical staff, CTA. The university have 249. The lectures we have 384, and actually we have almost 11,000 students actually. And we have 38 graduation courses or program and 11 doctoral postgraduate programs. The Likungu University selected 3 areas that are investing to, that we expect to get excellence. The areas are agriculture, conservation of biodiversity and environment. As you may know, 26% of total areas of Mozambique are covered by conservation areas. And these conservation areas actually are threatened by natural and anthropogenic factors. Mozambique is a cyclone-prone area. We are facing actually the impact of climate change, cyclones and inundation. It's threatening the biodiversity in that area, and also it's an opportunity is an opportunity for study actually. You may know that we have suffered in 2019 a very devastating cyclone called Idai. Yeah, and with damage not well quantified up to now. I brought that picture from Gorongosa National Park, which is an emblematic conservation area in Mozambique, very famous one. I hope that all of you may go there and visit this area. Okay, another area of excellence is education, health, and well-being that my university is investing in. I'm bringing some ongoing community intervention project that we are running actually. Most of the Mozambican area are facing problem of malnutrition, and we are investigating. There is a project to combat chronic malnutrition. In Portuguese, it's called pro-soja. If I would like to translate it, maybe it should be something like pro-soybean. We are trying to produce cereal, to investigate, to bring the improved seeds, to help the local community to produce it so that can increase the production and productivity. Also, there is a project to called Girl Empowerment. We are facing earlier marriages in Mozambique, and most of the girls in the school, they used to drop out, right? Yeah, and this is a big concern for the government, and as university, we need to contribute to reduce this in the province that we are. And another project that we are running actually is to combat erosion, coastal erosion. Mozambique, we have almost 3,000 kilometers of coastal line with very rich biodiversity, including mangroves that I'm going to speak a bit. But because of the coastal line is coming to the water is moving to the continent, right? And the erosion now is a great concern for all of us. Another project is a business incubators and also the fry and feed production. They are occurring in Zambes. There is a project that we are running is coconut tree restoration. In the past, the province of Zambezia, where Likungu has its headquarters, was the top in terms of the coconut production, but actually the scenario is changing, especially because of the effect of climate change and some of the diseases related that are decreasing the coconuts in our country. And also we are trying to investigate it to find a solution. There is a project that I'm inside. I'm one of the responsible in Mozambique. It's called Payment for Mangroves Ecosystem Service in Mozambique. What we are doing in this project is to support saving groups. We have some saving groups, giving them some money so that they can plant mangrove, can protect, can control, because actually the mangrove is also one of the most impacted ecosystem in Mozambique because of the human activity and also the natural phenomenon, as I have mentioned previously. And also mangroves is protected under the Ramsar Convention. It's part of wetland. Zambezia and Sofala province, where the Likungu University is located, cover 50% of the mangrove in whole country. In terms of the area of mangrove, Mozambique has the second largest area in Africa. After Nigeria, we have 3,000 kilometers of mangrove, but actually maybe this number can is changing. And what we are doing in this project, one of apart from economical mangrove ecosystem service valuation, also I'm in charge to run ecological modeling of mangrove. I'm trying actually to design current and future scenarios for mangrove ecosystem, so that we can help the local government to take informed decision about mangrove. And the Sofala and Zambezia province, they are most prone area from because they are frequently affected by cyclone and inundation. It's lowland area. Yeah, it's a great concern actually. With this cooperation, we expect to strengthen our internationalization. We expect to establish a research network with you, people coming from world-class universities. I think that we can gain more with this cooperation. It's a great advantage for us. We also expect to promote technical and scientific and cultural cooperation. We have, it's also opportunity for us in our postgraduate program, academic mobility, and also training our teaching staff. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Alberto, for the presentation, and thank you all for presenting your institution. So the idea of this is an overall presentation, just for we will have a more deeper discussion during all the sessions of the mission. So you will probably discuss each of these different themes that you've indicated that you showed now. So I'd like now just to give you just a brief overview of the mission. And then after Christopher will show you some background about the vegetation profile in Paraná state. So I will be very brief here. So let me see. No, it's okay. Thank you. So the idea of this mission of bringing you from Australia and Mozambique to Paraná state, it was organized by Araucária Foundation with the participation of NAPI Biodiversity and also of NAPI Genomics. And the idea of this mission was, instead of bringing a lot of people, a lot of research here to discuss in the room, so the idea is that we will bring you to the different part of the state. So you, during all the mission, you will have a contact, we have technical visits to some institutions, also some to natural areas, so you can know, to get in contact with the biodiversity, to the studies occurring in that place. And also you be able to meet different researchers from the different parts of the state during the whole mission. So and so we are trying to, we plan the schedule of trying to do this kind of interaction of you from different researchers and also from our biodiversity. So today, okay, it doesn't work here, but anyway. Yeah. Today, so we will start after we will visit the rainforest area. So we will visit a rainforest area near the littoral. So we will be by this is it was organized by people from the Federal University of Paraná. So they will show some research they do there, and you'll be able to know a little about this Atlantic rainforest. Tomorrow we will leave to Curitiba, and we will go to Campo Largo and Ponta Grossa. So in Campo Largo, we will visit the Sociedade Chauá Society, that also works with forest restoration and also with the plant genetic diversity. It's an important partner of our research network. So we will have the discussion about a first thematic session about plant genetic diversity there. And after that, we will visit the Vila Velha State Park, which is we will be able to know the Campos Gerais vegetation, like a grassland vegetation typical from this region of Paraná state. Then on the 10th, on Wednesday, 10th of April, we will be at Guarapuava. In Guarapuava, we have different sessions. There will be many researchers and also some students, that will be there to discuss participation discussion. So we have a joint session about innovation, transference of technology, and funding mechanisms. A joint session. Then we have like some simultaneous sessions, as we have many themes to discuss. We need to have some simultaneous sessions that like these ones. One about biodiversity and ecosystem service, and another about genomics applied to the agriculture. And at noon, we have a session about plant vulnerability and adaptation to climate change. And you have a visit there to the Genome Valley ecosystem, to the Institute for Cancer Research, and also for the Araucária Municipal Park, where you'll be able to see the Araucária forest, moist forest there. It's another phytophysiognomy of Paraná state. Then in the other day, we have three more sessions about soil genomics and microbiology, genomics applied to human health and plant ecology. And then we will start our travel to Foz do Iguaçu, and we will stop during the trip to visit a eucalyptus plantation of the golden tree florestadora. So as you may, it's native from Australia, perhaps it will be interesting to know how the eucalyptus here for wood here in Brazil. And then we arrive in Foz do Iguaçu. We will have 2 days in Foz do Iguaçu. In one day, we will visit the Iguaçu National Park. We stay the whole day there. We will visit the seasonal forest there, plant forest there. Also, we have a thematic session more related to the monitoring of terrestrial environments. We have lunch in the Park of the Birds that will also be able to know something up to visit the park, and then we come back to the Iguaçu National Park. And then the second day we will visit the Itaipu Technological Parks. We will have 2 thematic sessions there, one about ecotoxicology and genomics applied to the conservation and health of freshwater environments, so something about the monitoring of freshwater environments, and then a thematic session about strategies for stakeholder engagement, interaction with the society. And then we have a final session after lunch to discuss the outcomes, the perspectives from the mission. So we need to show our homework there to see. The idea is that at the end of each session, it's very important that both sessions we have short talks and we have a long time for discussion. And at the end of each session, we expect that to have the main points for cooperation, the main strategies, out some doubts and so on. Because in this last session, the idea is to summarize all the possibilities and define the strategies for the next steps. Okay, and then we will visit also the Itaipu biological refuge before finishing the session on the Saturday. So it will be a very intense agenda for the next days, but the idea is that you can get in touch with different the diversity of people and also of research and also from biodiversity of Paraná State during these next 6 days. Okay, and now I will invite Christopher Blanc, Dr. Christopher Blanc, who is also a researcher from NAP Biodiversity and from Paraná State, Paraná Federal University, and he will, because why we will do this trip from the litoral to Foz do Iguaçu, because it will be very important to understand how is the vegetation of Paraná State. So why it's important because he will give you an overview about the vegetation physiognomies in Paraná State also. So I think it can have a good idea. So why we choose this itinerary for our mission.
Well, thank you, Ali. Yes, considering that this research mission will cross the Paraná State, we thought that it would be interesting to provide you some brief information about the vegetation physiognomies of our state. Well, to better understand the vegetation distribution, it's needful to know something about the physical environment. The Paraná State has 5 great geomorphological compartments. Here in Curitiba, we are in the first Paraná Plateau, also called Curitiba Plateau. And to the east, we have the Serra do Mar mountain range and the coastal plain. And to the west, we have 2 more plateaus, the second and the third, also called Ponta Grossa Plateau and Guarapuava Plateau. And here's also interesting to point that the Paraná State is located in a boundary between 2 great thematic zones, the tropical and the subtropical zones, demarcated by the Tropic of Capricorn, like in Australia. And so we have here a special phytogeographic contest of ecotone between distinct vegetation ecosystems, like the savanna, the Brazilian savanna, and the subtropical grasslands. Well, in this 3D model, we can access some information about geological basement and relief aspects of Paraná, starting in the east with the coastal plain that is formed by sediments of marine and continental origin, with flat relief and altitudes near to the sea level. And the Serra do Mar mountain range is formed by igneous rocks, particularly granite rocks, with a very high slopes and at altitudes around 1,500 meters. Then the first Paraná Plateau has a geological basement of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gentle to more undulating relief. In the second plateau, we have a basement of sedimentary rocks, mainly sandstone rocks, with also gentle to undulating relief. And in the third plateau, we have two different situations, geological situations. The predominant situation is characterized by basaltic rocks originated from lava flows. And these basaltic rocks results in very well-developed soils, fertile soils, and gentle undulating relief. In the stream northwest of this plateau, we have a different situation marked by sedimentary rocks, sandstone. And in this region, we have poor soils and very susceptible to erosion. Well, here we have an hypsometric map of Paraná, only to understand better the altitude distribution. You can see that the higher regions are in the central and south areas of Paraná, and also in the Serra do Mar mountain range, where we have the highest mountain of Paraná state, named Pico Paraná, with 1,889 meters. And in the other side, we have the lowest altitudes in the coastal plain, and also near the Paraná River here in the west. In this altitude configuration commands also the climate distribution of Paraná state. We have here two great climate types according to Köppen's classification. Below 700 meters above sea level, we have a humid subtropical climate with warm summers, named CFA. And above this altitude, we have also a humid subtropical climate, but with cold summers, named CFB. And also we have in this climate frost in winter. So it's a more temperate climate. Well, now we can talk about vegetation, but first it's important to explain that the Paraná state is within the boundaries of a great Brazilian biome named Mata Atlântica, or we can traduce to Atlantic rainforest. And this great biome comprises a lot of ecosystems in the Atlantic basin. So we have two great forest biomes in Brazil, the Amazon biome and the Mata Atlântica or Atlantic rainforest biome. So in the Mata Atlântica biome, we have many types of forests and also non-forest associated ecosystems. And that's why the Paraná state is mainly located in this biome. But we have also some representation of the Cerrado biome. We can traduce Cerrado to Brazilian savanna. And the north of Paraná, represented by few and small relics of this savanna vegetation. Okay, and another biomes of Brazil are Caatinga, a semi-arid vegetation, and also the Pantanal wetlands, and the Pampa, where we have the mainly subtropical grasslands. So we have here the phytogeographic map of Paraná state that represents the original cover of the state. Nowadays, we don't have this vegetation cover anymore, unfortunately. So we have three types of forests. In the east, represented by the dark green, we have the tropical Atlantic rainforest over the Serra do Mar mountain range and the coastal plain. Then occupying the high altitudinal regions of the three Paraná plateaus. We have the Araucaria moist forest in light green. And finally, in olive green, we have the seasonal semidecidal forest, mainly in lower lands of the third plateau. So the Araucaria moist forest has his distribution delimited by the colder climate of Paraná. And we have also two non-forest ecosystems. In yellow, the grassland, the subtropical grasslands, which occurs in association with the Araucaria rainforest. Also in regions with a colder climate. And like I already said, the Brazilian savanna in small reliefs. Well, we have some images here. The tropical Atlantic rainforest in a slope of the Serra do Mar mountain range. It's our richest and most biodiverse Paraná formation. Also in life forms, not only in species, but also in life forms. It is a forest with considerably tall trees, like around 30 to 35 meters high. And it's notable also to mention the extremely richness of epiphytes, also in biomass representative, especially bromeliads and orchids. Well, here's the Araucaria moist forest. That is a community with high density of Araucaria angustifolia. It's our species. I think you have the Araucaria bidwilli. But this is not more so common in Paraná state. Nowadays, it's very rare to find some view because of the intense reduction of the population of Araucaria angustifolia due to logging of this species in the past. Well, here's a very, very common view of the Araucaria rainforest associated to the grasslands, the subtropical grasslands in the first plane. And here, a picture I made of the seasonal semidecidal forest. This type of forest is characterized by having part of its leaves, losing part of its leaves in the not so favorable period. So in winter, the climate is more drier and more colder, then occurs the loss of the leaves. Here, the Brazilian savanna that we call cerrado. This is the typical physiognomy of the Brazilian savanna with a predominant grass cover and sparse occurrence of shrubs and small trees. And at the end, the subtropical grasslands. It's a very beautiful physiognomy of Paraná state, also important for our culture. But also is probably the most endangered physiognomy of Paraná, because it's very, very easy to transform them, use them. It is a physiognomy with a predominance of herbaceous species and sometimes also shrubby species. The subtropical grasslands can be dry or wet. So here in the first plane, we have a wet community. And in the second plane, we have in the slope a dry community. It depends on the position in the slope and the landscape, and also on the geological formation of regional geological formation. Well, that was I talk very fast because we have time to do. But thank you. If you have any questions, also I think we can discuss during the mission, or you can send me an email. But you can also ask some now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Christopher, for the presentation, for the overview of the. So I think now I will ask Eliane to finish the session, and
Okay, just to thank you again for joining the delegation. A special thanks to Holly for the great work in designing all the mission. It's not easy because it involves different cities and organizations, universities. So thank you so much for your effort to make it happen. During your mission, you are also going to meet Dr. David, that's from genomics, so the health area. So I'm sure you have great discussions together with him also. And I hope you enjoy. So Curitiba just gave the welcome Common Weather Day. So this is our welcome. I hope you can have some sunshine during your weekdays here in Paraná, because the day is completely different and warm. But I'm sure that you take advantage of it because you have beautiful places to visit, our forests, to know better our biodiversity and also our health project system and institutes that Araucaria Foundation has invested in lots of efforts and support for the project design and development together with our researchers. I'm sure that you're with our best researchers in the area, so that you have a good discussion and to come to the end of the week with the good ideas and insights for project design and development. So we are very open to discuss any kind of collaboration. So of course that we hope by Saturday to have an idea about the potential projects together, considering the main areas of cooperation. But as we discussed during the coffee break, you could also have the idea to optimize the project, having all the projects together. So I mean, when you have a project design in this project, you also could consider having the exchange of undergrad and postdoc together with your research, so that you can have a research team on behalf of your project. So you can design everything together, to have a bigger impact. So as we have some exchange program, why not consider that exchange program under your project proposal to add a team to your idea for project development. So in terms of length, of course, we can think about short, medium, and long terms project development. And on behalf of Araucaria Foundation, we just want to thank you again for coming to Paraná, and count on us for any support that potentially you need. And we hope to see you again in Paraná or in Australia as well. So thank you again. Enjoy. And I think we are going to have lunch together. But for now, enjoy your trip. And I hope you succeed in your discussions and the project proposals. Thank you.
Thank you.